Okay, no more intros. Let's get into it. Today, guys, we have a special guest, one of the philosopher friends that I have discussed multiple times and have mentioned in my channel in multiple instances, rather. It is Akhiles Demise Maborang Clap. Diba? Any introductory words as you introduce yourself into this online realm of podcasting, Demise? Any introductory words?
I like penguins.
You like penguins. Sige. Okay, cut the bullshit small talk. Let's start. What are we gonna talk about tonight or today? Yeah, tonight. Fucking
The ego.
ego. Yeah, ego. So for background context, we've been talking about this for multiple years. Actually, not years. Let's just say months. This is not a topic that's new to both of us. And for even further context, the way I see it, correct me if I'm wrong, Demise, but the way I see it, especially with the time we've spent together, I've always seen you as the arrogant one and I'm the humble one, and we are like yin and yang, and we're there to balance each other out. Okay, let me continue. And the reason why I thought this would be the best opportunity to talk about this is because last night I went on a drunk podcast with a bunch of college friends, like impulsive decision shit, basically. And it was like 2 a.m. and then we stumbled upon this topic na I'm pretty sure I've asked you this before na din. Is ego necessary for a man to survive in today's society? What are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, we first must define what ego is. I believe you could do the honor. You may.
The way we went into the topic in the first place is that there's this yeah, we could just even call it self-doubt or perhaps even low self-esteem, where in the context of programming, this is something that is very specific, but yeah, I guess this is best illustrated as an example na lang. For example, there's me and this dude, a classmate of mine. We have barely talked up until last night, and we were able to relate on one thing. I'm a computer science student, as most of you YouTube people know, and we have this programming class, and we're given a set amount of time to, let's say, solve a problem. Okay, so me and this guy relate in a sense na we're solving a coding problem, and there's this two, I wouldn't necessarily call prodigies, but let's just say they're the top of the class. And every time they finish way before us, our fucking egos get hit. Like, I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, Demise. This doesn't apply to academics as well. This applies to anything in life that involves any form of competition. You're doing
But
something and you see somebody on the other side of the screen, on the other side of the team, on the other side of the fucking table, you're having trouble trying to do this, and they just swept it just like nothing. And of course, you're hit. Okay? You're thinking na, oh, man, why can't I do the shit they can do? And surprisingly, I thought it was only me having this inferiority complex. But apparently, that guy I talked to last night, half drunk, was also experiencing the same thing. And this is where the ego comes in. He describes na lang, and I think I've argued away this before. Now, okay, if those two guys can solve way faster than I do, in a fight, I would fucking beat them up. Like, you're compensating in some way na instead of being down na, oh, I can't be like them, bro, I'm shit. But you try to fail safe your way onto salvation. Well, not really salvation, but this mindset shift, although very shaky, okay, it's ego. I mean, the most,
but
yeah, like,
it's funny. It's funny because it's actually something that I would say. But
mm,
yeah, the most actually important point of this introduction is ego is a sense of identity, and whenever we say na whenever we get hit by these strikes per se na parang okay, ito mga tao to tinamaan nila tayo kasi he did something you weren't expecting of him, but you were expecting that from yourself. But when that identity is tarnished na, and then your sense of self na question ba, na question kaya kung uh, kung kaya mo nga ba talaga, do you really have the what it takes? And that's one of the cracks din sa ego kasi if you don't have a clear, concrete background
Mm.
of whether you could do something that has been a part of your identity. Your ego is something na parang it could be played around, it could be trashed, it could be broken down.
I mean,
So,
that's what, yeah.
mm. And one of the struggles that comes along with that is also na when you did something worthy
Mm.
of respect of identity as well. Pero let's just say you did a major accomplishment uh, 2 years ago,
Mm.
but there comes a point din kasi na let's just say sabihin natin 2 years ago nga. But could you do that still now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And that,
Kasi all you've been till up now, all you've been doing is believing that you could do it because you've done it before.
mm,
But could you really do it now? That's the main question.
mm,
And that's something dangerous because when you build something around your identity, something around what that happened,
oh,
quote unquote happened,
mm,
is it's easily disruptable kasi ang kalaban mo time.
yeah. And I'd like to segue this a little bit na in a sense na when you're so used to being at the top and somebody comes along that can easily not really challenge it, diba? Like
Mhm.
for example, you've come up, I've mentioned this in the past video of mine where when it comes to like academic weapon ka, and then you've been so used to being at the top, and then you thought you're gonna be at the top, like that's it, and then these people come along and then they prove to you na, oh my gosh, there's someone better than me. And now the way I see this egotistic na lang, yeah, for lack of a better term, egotistic mindset is that, oh, a new challenger has arrived and now I'm here to like just I have to one up them now, like.
Hmm. You could also say na parang kasi the struggle here is when you see na your identity has become na you've labored yourself na you're the best,
Oh,
and that's a struggle. And when you put your identity as the best, it could easily be taken away from you kasi. And
yes, that,
so
yeah.
there's barely any security in that.
But the
Yes.
argument was
You,
it
mm,
works though. I mean, I'm pretty sure you argued this back then with me na it works. Okay, it pushes you to do better and try to become the best even though there's no such thing as the best. You know this. You keep moving the goalpost. Like you keep pushing against the wall because it keeps moving. No matter what you try to do, there will always be someone out there that will come knocking down your door and question whether you're actually the best or not. So I've always seen this as something like a toxic mindset. But apparently, since we're young, it's better to think about it in this way for us to keep pushing the limits, quote unquote. What do you think of this?
I think it's the struggle kasi. The way I like to connect it, the way I like to connect it is kasi as humans, we strive of struggle and accomplishment. And siguro, in its ways of alleviating the pain of the struggle, you find that tad bit of joy or happiness. And that's what keeps dragging
Progress.
you in that path, that progress.
Yeah.
And parang siyang, when a man is fishing and there's like a tad bit of bait and keep following it,
Yeah.
being you the fish, till, till you actually get it and realize in the end, well, I can't make any comments for now since I'm still young,
Yeah.
and I wish to do so when I'm about to die, I guess.
Because like in the same way we discussed before, we spent like an hour last night trying to unpack this entire thing. Is there no other alternative other than to keep our egos high for us to not fall? Because
Mm,
the reason why this somehow works in our age is that because we're hungry.
yeah. Kasi, okay, continuing what you were just saying, sabi ko, that's also with the assumption kasi na in some sense that ego will fail you, and it will always come back to you.
Mm.
And that's assuming that having the ego or having that sense of supreme confidence will eventually caught up to you in a
Mm.
sense na magbabackfire siya.
Yeah, it does
And
backfire.
it does, di ba? It does. Pero I'd like to propose the idea that maybe we're just doing it wrong. And the sense of identity we always and we tend to focus on are those that are not non-concrete and actually could be beneficial, but
Mm.
they're kind of like a depth
Trade
could get
off.
in. Yeah,
A
trade off,
trade
trade
off.
off.
Yeah.
Not unless you actually invest on it, you actually do something about it with that ego, it doesn't amount to anything great or anything else that could actually benefit you. Well,
But it
it
drags you up
may,
in a way though. Like when you feel like you're the best, of course, when you think you're the best, you might actually not be the best. But because you think you're the best or you're better than X or Y, you're now your actions will reflect that. So there is a benefit. It's just that
mhm,
like I always emphasize every time we have this discussion is that it's a very shallow reasoning. Not really reasoning, motivation. It's a shallow motivation because once you beat this guy, who's next? That guy. Then that guy, then that guy, then that guy, then that guy, then you're at the top. And now you're there. I feel like you can relate to this when our PUBG stint. Now, once you're at the top, there comes the question of then what? Right?